December 2009, Mercedes-Benz announces the comeback nobody asked for. Michael Schumacher, seven-time world champion, 3 years retired, now 41 years old, will return to Formula One to lead their factory team. The contract, 3 years, $30 million per season, $90 million total. What they got for the money? 0 wins in 58 starts. 1 pole position, immediately wiped out by a grid penalty. 1 podium. Average finishing position, 9th. His teammate Nico Rosberg earned $8 million a year, drove the same car, and beat him on every metric. On paper, this was the worst value-for-money driver contract in modern motorsport history. But Mercedes didn't hire Schumacher to win races. They hired him to execute the most expensive brand repositioning play the sport had ever seen. And by one internal measure, it worked. This is the story of how a $90 million marketing budget disguised itself as a driver salary, and why, 5 years later, that investment paid off in 8 consecutive world championships. On December 23, 2009, Mercedes-Benz announced that Michael Schumacher would return to Formula One after a 3-year retirement. The deal was structured as a 3-year contract running from 2010 through 2012. Forbes reported his salary at $30 million per season. Subsequent court filings during a sponsorship dispute between Daimler and one of its marketing partners corroborated that figure. Total guaranteed compensation, $90 million US. The contract also included performance bonuses tied to race wins and championship standings, none of which were ever triggered, plus image rights royalties channeled through the Mercedes-AMG branding division. Those royalties were never itemized publicly, but industry sources estimated them at an additional $2 to $3 million per year. The car Schumacher would drive was not new. It was the exact same chassis that Jenson Button had piloted to the 2009 World Championship under the Brawn GP banner. Ross Brawn had sold that team to Mercedes for an undisclosed sum, widely reported to be between £70 and £90 million. Mercedes rebadged the car, kept Brawn as team principal, and signed Schumacher as the marquee name. On paper, this was a championship-winning car with the most decorated driver in the sport's history. It should have been a guaranteed success. It was not. Across 3 seasons and 58 race starts, Michael Schumacher did not win a single Grand Prix. He claimed 1 pole position, Monaco 2012, but was demoted 5 grid places before the race began due to a gearbox change penalty. He finished on the podium once, 3rd place in Valencia 2012. He set 3 fastest laps. His average finishing position was 9.3. His teammate during all 3 years was Nico Rosberg, a 24-year-old German-Finnish driver in his 5th season. Rosberg's salary was approximately $8 million per year, roughly 1/4 of Schumacher's. Rosberg won 1 race during that period, finished on the podium 5 times, and outqualified Schumacher 36 times to 22. Across the 3 seasons, Rosberg scored 376 World Championship points. Schumacher scored 197. Same car, same team, same engineers rotating between the 2 garages. One driver earned $90 million and finished 9th on average. The other earned $24 million total and comprehensively outperformed him. By any traditional sporting metric, this was a catastrophic return on investment. But Mercedes was not measuring return in podiums. Mercedes-Benz had not run a works Formula One team since 1955. That year, after the Le Mans disaster killed 83 spectators, Mercedes withdrew from all motorsport. For 54 years, the 3-pointed star appeared in F1 only as an engine supplier, most famously with McLaren. The 2010 re-entry was not a racing decision. It was a brand decision. Daimler's executive board had approved the Brawn acquisition and the Schumacher contract as a single integrated marketing initiative. Internal documents later surfaced during a 2014 contract dispute between Daimler and a sports marketing agency. Those documents estimated that Schumacher's presence generated approximately €170 million in earned media value across the 3 years. Earned media value is a soft metric. It measures equivalent advertising cost if Mercedes had paid for the same reach through traditional channels. But even accounting for methodological optimism, the return was substantial. Schumacher was not hired to finish first. He was hired to be the most visible German athlete in the most visible global motorsport series, wearing a silver car with a three-pointed star. The marketing department needed a face that 60-year-old German car buyers recognized. Nico Rosberg was 24, raised in Monaco and spoke 4 languages. Michael Schumacher was born in Hürth, 40 minutes from the Daimler headquarters in Stuttgart. He was the face. The results were secondary. To understand the scale of the underperformance, compare Schumacher's Mercedes stint to his previous Ferrari career. From 2000 to 2006, Schumacher won 5 consecutive world championships with Ferrari. He won 91 races total across his career. 72 of those were with Ferrari. His final Ferrari season, 2006, saw 7 wins and 8 podiums in 18 starts. He retired at the end of that year, aged 37. 3 years later, he returned. In his first season back, 2010, he finished 9th in the championship with 0 podiums. The car was not fundamentally uncompetitive. Nico Rosberg finished 7th in the same car with 3 podiums. The 2011 season was worse. Schumacher finished 8th. Rosberg finished 7th again. 2012 offered a brief resurgence. Schumacher's single podium in Valencia, his pole in Monaco, and a string of points finishes that lifted him to 13th in the standings. But Rosberg won China and finished 9th overall with 5 podiums. Across the 3 years, the performance delta was consistent. Rosberg, younger, cheaper, less experienced, was simply faster. The narrative that Schumacher was hired for his technical feedback and development work also does not hold. Both drivers fed data to the same engineering team. Brawn and technical director Bob Bell later confirmed in interviews that Rosberg's feedback was more detailed and more actionable. Schumacher was not developing the car. He was wearing the logo. On October 4, 2012, Michael Schumacher announced his second and final retirement from Formula One. He had signed no extension. Mercedes had made no offer. 3 months later, in January 2013, Mercedes announced the signing of Lewis Hamilton from McLaren. Hamilton's contract was reported at $31 million per year, almost identical to Schumacher's, but with a fundamentally different mandate. Hamilton was hired to win, and he did. In his first season, 2013, Hamilton won 3 races. Rosberg won 2. The car, designated W04, was an evolution of the chassis Schumacher had driven the year before. The following season, 2014, new hybrid power unit regulations took effect. Mercedes dominated. Hamilton won 11 races and claimed his second world championship. Rosberg won 5. From 2014 to 2021, Mercedes won 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships, a record that will likely never be broken. Hamilton won 6 of his 7 drivers' titles in that span. The engineering foundation for that dominance was laid during the Schumacher years. Brawn, Bell, and executive technical director Paddy Lowe had spent 2010 through 2012 building the operational infrastructure that would support the hybrid era. Schumacher was part of that process, not as a development driver, but as the visible figurehead who kept sponsor interest high and board-level funding secure during 3 years of mediocre results. Michael Schumacher's public life effectively ended on December 29, 2013. He suffered a traumatic brain injury in a skiing accident in the French Alps. He has not been seen in public since. His family has disclosed no details about his condition. His legacy remains the 91 wins, the 7 titles, the 15 years at the top of the sport. The 3-year Mercedes comeback is a footnote. But financially, those 3 years represent one of the most successful marketing investments in modern motorsport. Daimler paid $90 million for a driver who finished 9th. They received €170 million in earned media value, 8 years of world championship dominance, and the infrastructure to support the most successful constructor run in Formula One history. The Hamilton era, 6 titles, 84 wins, 156 podiums, was built on the commercial and technical foundation that Schumacher's salary financed. The lesson here is not that results don't matter. The lesson is that in Formula One, results are downstream of capital allocation. Mercedes did not hire Schumacher to win in 2010. They hired him to secure the funding, visibility, and operational runway required to win in 2014. By that measure, paying $30 million a year for 0 victories was the cheapest acquisition in the company's history. And the driver who paid the price was the one whose name was on the contract. December 2013. Michael Schumacher suffers a catastrophic ski accident and disappears from public life. 3 months earlier, Lewis Hamilton had taken his seat at Mercedes. The car Hamilton inherited, the engineering culture, the sponsor base, the board-level commitment to winning, was the direct product of the $90 million gamble Mercedes made on Schumacher in 2009. Schumacher never saw a victory in that silver car, but the infrastructure his salary financed went on to win 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships and 6 Drivers' titles for Hamilton. In traditional terms, the Schumacher deal was a disaster. In capital allocation terms, it was one of the most profitable decisions Daimler ever made. Formula One is not a sport. It is a branding vehicle with a steering wheel, and sometimes the most expensive driver is the one who never crosses the line first. If you want access to the full story vault, 250 premium F1 finance breakdowns, raw data, and the source documents behind every script, head to the link in the description. One-time payment, lifetime access. See you next time.